Alright, what it is, people, it's your boy YUGIOH. We are back with another deck profile. This time we have a Master Duel first place Voiceless Voice deck profile for the Meta Weekly 134. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Check out DK's channels for having these tournaments. It's amazing that we can have, Master Duel, competitive Master Duel content that I can bring to you all and keep you updated on the meta and the formats that's basically here. But let's get into the deck profile. So the deck profile, we have 3 low prayers of the Voiceless Voice. If you ritual summon exactly 1 ritual monster, warrior, or dragon with the card effect that requires use of monsters, this card can be used as an entire tribute. You can only use each of the following effects of low prayers of the Voiceless Voice once per turn. If this card is no more special summon, you can place 1 Voiceless Voice continuous spell/trap from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone. If a light ritual monster, warrior, dragon is special summon from to your field while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. So play 3 lows. Then we play 3 diviner. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send 1 fairy monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. And if you do, increase this card's level by that monster's level until the end of the turn. If this card is tribute, you can special 1 level 2 or lower fairy monster from your hand or deck, except diviner or the herald. You can only use this effect once per turn. So play 3 of those. 3 Ash Blossom Joy Spring. We already know what Ash Blossom does, so 3 of them in the main deck is necessary. 3 Saphira, the Dragon Queen of the Voiceless Voice. You can discard this card, send 1 ritual spell from your deck to the graveyard. Then you can add 1 light ritual monster, warrior, or dragon from your deck to the graveyard, or graveyard to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Ritual summon 1 light monster. Ritual summon 1 light ritual monster, warrior, or dragon from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal to or exceed the level of the ritual monster. You can only use each effect once per turn. Then we have 1 Odd-Eyes Pendulum Graph Dragon. Pendulum effect. During the end phase, you can add 1 ritual spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Then you can return this card to the hand. Monster effect. You can ritual summon this card with Odd-Eyes Advent. Must either be ritual summon or pendulum summon. Each time your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, inflict 300 damage to them. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell card or effect, quick effect, you can place this card in the pendulum zone, and if you do, negate that effect. Then if this ritual summon card was placed in the pendulum zone this way, you can special summon 1 Odd-Eyes monster from your extra deck. So pretty good. I remember when I played at YCS Vegas on the feature match, actually I played against Voiceless Voice, and my opponent actually had this card. It's pretty good. 1 Severus, the Dragon Sage. You can special summon this card from your hand by shuffling 2 spells from your hand and or graveyard into the deck, including at least 1 ritual spell. You can only special summon Severus, the Sagely Voiceless Voice, once per turn this way. When your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the hand, special summon 1 light warrior or dragon ritual monster from your hand or deck, but shuffle it into the deck during the end phase of the next turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. 1 Dogmatica Maximus. You can banish 1 Fusion, Synchro XC, or Link monster from the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can activate this effect, send 2 monsters with different names from your extra deck to the graveyard. Also, your opponent send 2 monsters from the extra deck to the graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. Pretty interesting. 1 Treyas. During the main phase, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, quick effect, you can tribute up to 3 fairy monsters, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Then you can apply the following effects in sequence, depending on the number of attributed monsters. +2. 2+, destroy 1 card your opponent controls. 3, draw 2 cards. You can only use this effect once per turn. Then we have 2 Saravis, the Ancient Dragon. You can ritual summon this card with Spirit's Blessing, where your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monster you control. Quick effect, you can discard this card, negate the activation. Where your opponent will special summon a monster, quick effect, you can return this card to the hand, negate the special summon, and if you do, banish that monster. So play two of these. Then we play 2 Skull Guardian. You can ritual summon this with prayers of the Voiceless Voice. Gains 2050 attack while you have low prayers of the Voiceless Voice on your field or in the graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of Skull Guardian once per turn. If this card is ritual summon, you can add 1 Voiceless Voice monster or 1 ritual monster, warrior, dragon from your deck to your hand. When your opponent activates a card or effect while you control low the prayers of the Voiceless Voice, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Then we have 2 Preparation of Rites, add 1 ritual spell from your deck to your hand, and add 1 ritual monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand whose name is listed. Then we play 2 Nadir Servant, which is limited to 2. Send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, then add 1 dogmatical monster or fallen albaz monster from your deck or graveyard to the hand that has attack less than or equal to the monster sent to the graveyard. Also for the rest of his turn, after this card resolves, you cannot spend some monsters from the extra deck. Pretty interesting. 2 Triple Tactics Thrust. We all know what Thrust does. 2 Prayers of the Voiceless Voice. This card can be used to ritual summon any light ritual monster. You must also tribute light monsters from your hand or field whose levels equal or exceed the level of ritual monsters. If a face-up light ritual monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 Saravis, the Ancient Ascend Sephira, Queen of the Dragons, or Skull Guardian of the Voiceless Voice from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can only use this effect once per turn. Then we play 1 Blessing of the Voiceless Voice. You can target 1 of your Voiceless Voice cards that is banished or in the graveyard, except Blessing of the Voiceless Voice, add it to your hand. If a non-ritual monster is normal summon or special summon face up, except during damage step, you can ritual summon 1 light ritual monster from your hand by attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total level is equal to or exceed the level of the ritual spell. And if you do, it cannot be destroyed with battle. Let's see what else we have. We have 3 Barrier of the Voiceless Voice, white control, low the Prayers of the Voiceless Voice, and a light ritual monster you can add. Your opponent monsters can only target ritual monsters for attacks. Also, your opponent cannot target light monsters you control with card effects. During your main phase, you can add 1 Voiceless Voice card or 1 Skull Guardian ritual monster from your deck to your hand, except Barrier of the Voiceless Voice. So 3 of those. 2 Call by the Graves, 1 Cross-Eyed Designator. During your opponent's standby phase, you can activate this card. There is no battle phase. 1 Thunder of Ruler. I guess that's for Tempai. 3 Infinite Impermanence. And 1 Radiance of the Voiceless Voice. During the main phase, you can activate 1 of these effects. Shuffle 1 light ritual monster, warrior or dragon, or 1 ritual spell from your hand or graveyard into the deck. And if you do, add to your hand or special summon 1 Voiceless Voice monster from your deck. Target cards your opponent controls up to the number of light ritual monsters, warrior or dragon you control. Destroy both this card and as many of the targeted cards as possible. You can only use each effect once per turn. So to the extra deck now. The extra deck, we have 2 Elder Entis. Basically this card pops in the graveyard. 1 Garura for draw power once it gets into the graveyard. 1 Herald of Arclight. 1 Odd-Eyes Meteor Burst. 1 Chaos Angel. 2 Dynamondos. 1 Relinquish Anima. 1 Salaman Great Almirage. 1 Tri-Brigade Furjet. 1 SP Little Knight. 1 Nightmare Unicorn. And 1 Underworld Goddess. And 1 Secure Gardener. And that will end this first place Voiceless Voice Meta Weekly deck profile. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the videos. Shout out to DK for having these tournaments and also having his data for us. Pretty cool guy. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. It's your boy YUGIOH. We're out.